Welcome to this Google Sites screencast where we're just looking at how to do some extras. In this screencast in particular, I'm going to show you how to create a newsletter using Google Presentation. So here's an example web page where this teacher has added, or embedded rather, a Google Slides presentation. And this slide presentation is set up where each slide is maybe a different month depending on how often he gives out his newsletter or publishes his newsletter, so that all newsletters are really kept in one file. These can be printed off if the teacher needs to print these off and send them home, or if parents come to the website, they could read the newsletter right here on the site. So let's take a look at how to set this up. If I hop over to this tab, this is the Google Slides or Google Presentation file. This is very similar to PowerPoint, and I'm going to show you how to kind of create this from scratch and then how to also embed and link this up. The benefit of doing this is you keep all newsletters really in one place, and then as you go from month to month, you can just come into this presentation file. You could right click or control click on the current newsletter and choose to duplicate that slide. So now here's the one that I did for October. I can come up to this other one that's for October and I can start editing and changing this around for this to say November. I could change the colors if I don't want the colors to be the same as the month before. Maybe choose the colors along with what the theme of the month is. So that's kind of the gist of where this is going. How do we create this from scratch? I'm going to go to a different tab now, and I'm going to go into Google Drive. So here I am in Google Drive. I'm going to go to Create. I'm going to choose to create a presentation. One benefit, I guess, to doing this as a presentation is that you can easily move these objects around that you create. So here I am creating the presentation. I'm just going to choose a simple light theme, just a white background. I'm going to name this, so we'll call this Mr. K's Newsletters. And this first slide, I really don't want this layout. You can change the layout using the tools up here. Let me make this a little bigger in case you can't see this here. Go to Layout. I want this to be a blank, completely blank slide. Now, how did I get all those nice looking shapes and that word art? Again, another benefit here is that you can easily add objects and move them around. If you want to add word art, you can go to Insert and choose Word Art. And if I was going to type Mr. Kafka's Newsletter, that gets added. It's just plain boring text. However, just like other tools, you have a font choices here. The font choices you have start off with just what is kind of the basics for fonts, but you can go here under add fonts and you can see I've added some other fonts that are kind of, one looks like permanent marker, one's kind of a fatter looking font, so on and so forth. So there are all different fonts you can add. So I'll choose that one. That one looks kind of fun. I like using word art because I can easily drag it around on the slide. If I want to rotate it, that's what this little circle above is for. I can click and drag that circle. So if I want to have this have a little kind of crooked look to it, I can change the color of that. It's gray right now. If I choose the paint bucket, this will fill whatever the word art is. So if I want the word art to be orange, and that outline right now is kind of like a gray. I could change that using the pencil tool. This is the line or the outline. Let's say I want that to be a dark black so it stands out nice and thick there. Okay, so there's maybe my title. Now the shapes. The shapes tool is this little circle and square. If I click on that, I can mouse down. There's some shapes, some arrows if you want some quick little kind of clip art looking shapes. So if I go and choose maybe this rounded square or rounded rectangle, all I did earlier on the previous version was I click and drag and I draw that shape. What's nice about this then is that shape, if you double click on it, you can actually edit text in there. This is my first story where I will share what's going on in class. I'm just going to copy and paste this over and over so you can see what this looks like. So if you were to write up a little blurb here, this could be one story. I could go back and choose another shape, maybe the same rectangular box. Add this here. You don't have to use the rectangles. You could choose whatever shape you want. Maybe I want something, that's like a little bit, kind of a little calendar-looking picture. So this was what I did in the other file. Was I did that, and then I just typed some word art. So I chose word art again, and I chose if this was for December. And maybe give that a different font. We'll spend a little bit of time setting this up in the beginning. But the benefit again is you could copy and paste and use it over and over month to month. Let's see, this is Christmas, so we'll do, oh, that looks kind of bad. We'll do an outline maybe of white. It's not too bad. So if I also wanted to do maybe, if you do with your newsletters, you do something like a birthday list of whoever's birthdays are coming up. Again, this will be a public document if you put it on your website, so make sure you only use first names of your students. When you're typing in these boxes, you could highlight the text and you could center things up using your center tool, or if you want to align them to the top of the shape, the middle of the shape, or the bottom of the shape, that's also here in the align tool. But if I want to start this at the top and say who's coming up, align this to the left, so maybe on the 10th is Joey's birthday, and on the 15th is David's birthday, so on and so forth. And you can adjust these. Any shapes you add, use these little handles to make it as big or as small as you need, maybe freeing up some other space. Adding pictures into a Google presentation file is very easy as well. If I go and kind of shrink this up so I can see my desktop here, if you've got a picture that you got off a camera, and I have some here, just pick a picture of some students that maybe we want to add in. You can just drag and drop pictures right onto the slides. So if this was the play that was going on, I want to just size this up. Again, with pictures, just like shapes, you can grab that little circle and rotate this. So maybe I'll have that picture be there. I'll take out some of my text here so that I can see this, or I could just resize this box, size this down a little bit. Your choice. If you want some clip art, I'm going to open a new tab. I highly recommend openclipart.org. This is a great website of all free clip art. So if I wanted to look up a birthday cake, I find a birthday cake here, piece of clip art that I want to use, and let's say I want to use this one. I click on it to go to that page. You want to drag this to your desktop. So you drop the picture on your desktop first. So there's the picture. And then I flip back over to the newsletter I'm building, and I can drop this right into the slide. So good to always drop it to the desktop and then bring it back in. And I can put that picture right there. So you really can get into designing this how you want. And then again, next month comes along, you just come here, you right click, duplicate slide, you leave the December. Again, you keep the current one at the top, you move the other ones down. So now I go and I make this one January. So now how do I put this on my site? That's the next question. In order to do that, this is a one-time step. You go to File, Publish to the Web, and you click Start Publishing. Once you do that, you'll get this box with all this other code and stuff. You just need to do that action. It's currently being published to the web. I hit Close. You go to your website, whatever page you make. So I'm going to go into my website, and I'm going to edit my newsletter page here. Whoops. Yeah, let's reload. Give me an error message. Try that again here. And sign back in. Looks like I got signed out on accident there. There we go. So I'll go to my newsletter. I'll edit the newsletter page. We're going to pretend I haven't put anything here yet, so I'm just going to move this down. You place the cursor where you want to put this Google presentation file. So there's my cursor. I go to Insert, Presentation, and you're going to choose this by checkboxing it. If you don't see your newsletter file here, you could search for it and then checkbox it, hit select. I usually uncheck these choices. Probably medium or large would work. Let's try medium just to compare the sizes here. Here is where the presentation file will sit. I'll hit save just to give a look at this. And there's the newsletter for that month. And if somebody wanted to go back, they could click the arrow and go back and forth between the different newsletters. So it's an option. The benefit again is it's digital. It's on your website. Somebody could go back if they missed something in an earlier newsletter. You put it all in one place. And then you as the teacher, if you do need to print this for any students, maybe if the students don't have internet access at home, you can go to File, Print from the newsletter presentation file, and you could just choose if you wanted to just print the first slide. It'll just print the first slide, and then you can still hand that out for students to take home. So a little bit of a way to put everything in one place and make it easier and more efficient. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching.